So a lot of people think that they're impatient when it comes to trading, but really it comes down from having an addiction to trading, an addiction to resolution. So you always feel like you have to basically either prove something, get a result out of something, or find some type of way to have clarification of something. So today I'm going to talk about some things that you probably struggle with as a trader when it comes to being patient. A lot of people want to have this patience so they can become a swing trader or even a day trader, right? Most people are only scalpers because they have no patience or they feel like they don't have any patience. And one thing is, a lot of people will always think or even self-believe or not believe in themselves. They will have a limit to beliefs in themselves to even think that they can even have patience, right? But it's not patience that you're really chasing. It's actually the addiction of resolution. So basically what this means is you place a trade not because you think that price is either going to win or lose. You're placing that trade just so you know that you placed the trade and you did something. You feel like placing that trade is the same and as equivalent to already making money, right? You don't really too much care about winning or losing. You just want to place that trade. Now, some people do care about winning and losing, which why if they rush into a trade and get into a trade and it doesn't work out, then they overtrade, right? And it's not always about the greed. It's normally just that addiction that you have with inside that you feel like you have to press a button, right? That's something that I used to deal with when I was a beginning trader too as well. So I took some notes today and I'm gonna go over a few of them. So first line, we have your brain is wired to hate uncertainty. As human beings, we don't like things when it's very uncertain. We don't like to be unsure of things. We don't like when things are, not normal or out of the blue, right? We don't like that. And this prime example from how even the whole system of being a human being in this world is, right? You're born into this earth, which is already uncertain. Sometimes, some cases, you're born by accident. Sometimes you're born planned, right? You come into this world, you're not really sure what you're going to look like as a human being. You just come out and you're going to look like something later on. Very uncertain, right? And it's one of those things where that makes people insecure, causes insecurities, things like that, right? So as you go through life, you then have things that are very clear to you. Okay, you start to grow up. You see that you have to go to school for pretty much 12 to 13 years, go to school for 13 years. Once you get out, you got to go to college, get a job, then you find a girl, find a husband, or get a girl, find a man, get a husband, get a wife, find a house, have kids, and then you pretty much live the rest of your life working that day-to-day job, and then you die, right? That's like the whole blueprint of life for us, right? The moment you do something out of the ordinary, things start to be a little bit, you start to see more complications, right? You start to see more complications when it comes to trying to do something out of that blueprint. That's why when people don't go to college, right? The next thing they try to do is find a job, but they can't really find a good job if it wasn't like they went through college, if that makes sense. Like if they would have went to college, they would have had a better job than not going to college. In some cases, not all the time, but it's just one of those things. Or even like, let's say you probably might not know what you want to do before you're 18. So you're one of those that don't go to college the first 2 years. So then you're kind of sitting back on the sidelines waiting for something to happen. It's all different scenarios when it comes to uncertainty, right? And uncertainty is where people get confused, and this is where the psychology part comes in, because when things are uncertain, it causes your brain to think. I made a video about this before where I talk about how the world has basically punished people's creative thinking and their overall, creativity when it comes to anything. I feel like people don't think outside of the box, or people cannot think for themselves, or people don't think beyond past something, right? Because all the answers are in front of you. You have your whole blueprint. Why would you look for something else? That's uncertain. So uncertainty is something that we as humans, that's not what we're trained to do. We can, work on that later on and become an uncertain person that does things out of the ordinary, to see what limitations we can push past and what barriers we can push past. Yes, we can do that later on, but as a normal human being, you don't do that, right? I'm not talking about risk, I'm talking about uncertainty. An open trade, no trade, and a setup that might come causes psychological tension. So basically what this means is, a psychological tension is like your self-conscious brain in the back of your head saying, dang man, that setup is coming. I should go look at the charts. Dang, I know it's no setup, but I should still go look at the charts. My setup that I'm currently in, is it going to work out? Is it going the way I need it to go? And it's like a constant self-conscious voice in your head telling you, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, you need to do that. And what this ends up causing is, it makes you not patient to wait for the result of things, and then you just jump into it because you feel like it's a task that needs to be done. So this psychological mindset that happens when you're looking at your trade, or you're looking at the chart and the back of your head is saying, open a trade, or close that trade, or hurry up, let's go find a setup, even though the market is not set up. That voice in your head is basically almost like the trading devil, right? It's like the trading devil just talking to you on your shoulder, and you know exactly when to not do something, right? Because as humans, we can sense danger, we can sense fear, right? So while we do something out of fear and out of that emotion, right, those are not like always the best decisions. Think about it, right? If you are super angry, you've never made a really good decision when you was angry. You never really made a really good decision when you was sad. You never really made a good decision when you was confused. So why would you do the same thing in trading? If you're not feeling 100% happy about something, why would you do it, right? So all this causes psychological tension. So the brain's best way to kill this, basically, the brain's best way to find relief in this is by trading. So if I'm not so sure about something in trading as a beginner, I would just trade something. Because when I place that trade, for some reason, the dopamine inside of me is telling me everything's going to be okay until things are not okay. We'll get into that part, right? So every time you click buy or sell, you're not just placing a trade, you're basically clearing that uncertainty. So you're basically not even thinking about, like, you don't even have to, it doesn't even have to be right or wrong. Once again, it doesn't have to be right or wrong. It's just in the back of your head, you're feeling like as soon as you place that trade, everything's going to be a-okay because you're going to make money. That's the first thing that's going to come into your head. I'm going to make some money, so let me go ahead and place this trade, right? So with all that, winning or losing doesn't matter in the moment. What matters is the closure, right? So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a closure. So you placing that trade, or you trying to get out of a trade that you know could go for longer, whatever the case might be, you placing that trade is basically making you feel like you've done it, you're good, you're set, right? Until it's not, but we're going to talk about that, right? So that's why random trades feel good for a second, and the disciplined ones feel very, very painful. A lot of people, they get into a trade that is super fast, super spontaneous, and it's feeling good. Everything's emotions are high, everything's going great. They're floating in profit a little bit, and everything's feeling great until it's not. So when it's not, it's basically you're going to start thinking in your head like, dang, okay, maybe I should have never did this. Why did I even do that? Fuck, like, damn, I should have never got into that trade. Why did I get into that trade? Fuck, why didn't I listen to myself? And you're going to start thinking all these different things, and then you have this devil on your shoulder, this trading devil on your shoulder, and it's like, maybe you should place another lot. Maybe you should place another trade. Oh, if we lose this trade, we'll just place another trade on top of this so we can make our money back. And then you have the other side on you that's saying like, hey, this is not our setup. We should have never got into this. You should have listened the first time, right? And when you have this constant battle, you start to then become so obsessed with trading in general, where you become attached and it sinks in, and you forget that you have the world around you. You forget that you have things around you to help you avoid this addiction, right? Because all this is just an addiction, right? When, if you ever know somebody that has ever done drugs before, they've probably seen different monsters and creatures that probably talked to them before. And it's like, that's kind of like what trading is. Trading is giving you like a dopamine high every time you press the buy or sell button. You're getting the dopamine of either making money or not making money, right? You either can have a bad trip or you can have a good trip, right? So which one are you going to choose? Why not just go the healthy route, right? Why not just be patient, wait for the opportunity instead of trying to get high off of the adrenaline and all the chaos that's going on. Stop trying to get high off the chaos and be patient, right? And this is not just something I can say and it's going to change overnight for you, but I want you to program your mind to think in a sense of like, okay, I know my trade setup is not here. Let me chill for a little bit. Let me wait. Let me see what happens in the next couple of days, next couple of hours. And let me see if I can find the right opportunity to attack. There's no point of chasing a high, chasing a trade, because it could be a it could work out sometimes. There could be a good trip or it could be a bad trip. But normally, even if you have a good trip, you're going to build that habit and you're going to say, oh, I had a good trip this one time. Let me keep doing it because I feel like I'm going to keep having good trips. By that point, that's gambling because you don't know for sure you're going to have a good trip. You're just going based off of that one time you did it and it worked and you're going to try to do it. So then you keep doing it and then you're just going to keep getting bad trips and bad trips. But you have in your head that you have one good trip before. So you're like, if I had this one good trade one time when I over leveraged or when I full margin or I was over trading and it worked well that one time, you built that bad habit and you're going to try it again. But let's say this time you lost, but in your head you're going to be thinking, okay, I lost this time, but last time I remember I won, so let me try it one more time. And then you lose again, and then you lose again, and then you lose again. You might have another win, and then that's going to make you double this again, lose again, and you dig yourself into a deeper hole. So it's not about you being impatient. It's just you having this addiction to results. You have an addiction to results, which is causing you to do things that you're not supposed to do, but instead you do it because you are chasing that. You are chasing that addiction. So with this being said, the best ways to help this. Got you. All right. So the thing is, we need to redefine action. Because that's what you're chasing. You want action. You're in trading, you want action, you want the high life, you want the chaos, you want all of it. You just want to trade and you want to make money, right? That's an action. Let's just put it as that. That's an action. Now, the best way to fix this addiction that you have is to change the action that you're doing from buying and selling. So let's change buying and selling. So clicking buy or sell is your action that you're chasing. You just want to press something and make money. Let's shift that and let's do it in a way where we're doing it as in control, right? So now instead of pressing buy or sell, we're looking for control. So don't think of it in a sense of controlling the markets, but think of it as in controlling your capital. You have control over your capital. So basically where I'm going with this is, every day is not a trading day. We all know that. That's a beginner thing, right? But the best way that you can help yourself is to look at non-trading days as a trading day. Because what this does is it makes you feel like you had a good day regardless, right? It makes your dopamine spike up because that non-trading day, you're going to mark it technically as a trading day. So once again, let me repeat. You're going to log in. So you're going to basically journal out, today was a no trade day. Your no trade day is going to be your trade day, if that makes sense to you guys. And what this is going to cause to trick your brain into thinking no trade days are trade days to you. And that was a good day. So no trade days are really good. You didn't lose any money, right? So that way, when you don't trade, you're not going to FOMO out on things because you already had a good day. So think about it like this. I know some of you guys will make profit and still try to keep making profit in one day. But to my people out there that trade one time a day or two times a day, and you make your gains for the day, think about it, right? You make your 300, 400, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 in a day, right? You make that. Some of you guys quit and you're like, I had a good day, I'm gonna stay away. We want to do the same dopamine hit. We want to do the same psychology mindset with a no trade day. A no trade day should make you feel like, you know what? I had a good day because I didn't get into the markets when it wasn't looking as best as it could, or it wasn't looking like my setup was there, so I didn't take it. So I feel really good, right? This is one thing that's going to help with having that addiction, is changing the action into something about control, because now you have control. That's what you want. You want control over your capital. You want control over your mindset and your emotions. So every day, look at it as controlling, not an action, right? Let's also talk about delaying the resolution. So you want to basically, how did I put this? The urge to peak and demands immediately closures. All right, so another way is to delay the resolution. So once again, delay that action. So if you ever feel like you're finna FOMO, or you're finna, get into a trade that isn't your setup, right? I want you guys to try this. The trade that you want to get into, just wait 90 seconds. Wait around 90 to 120 seconds, right? And make that decision after this. So set a timer for 2 minutes and come back, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes if it's really bad, if you're really bad at this addiction that you have. Come back in 10 minutes, come back in 5 minutes, and just sit there and look at the charts and see if you really want to make that decision, right? If the setup is actually there, it's still going to be there. It's not going to run away from you. If the setup is there in 2 minutes, it's not going to go all the way to your TP immediately, right? Especially if you're trading off the higher time frame. So you still have a lot of time, but wait those extra minutes to see if you really want to get into that trade. Sometimes you might need to use an hour, come back an hour later and see if that is still something you want to get into. But delay the action. Try to delay the action and wait for, basically clarification to your brain that you really want to do this, right? And it's okay. Maybe you come back in 2 minutes and you still want to make this decision. Make the decision, right? And then whatever outcome comes after this, you handle that when the situation comes, right? Trade in windows and not time. Staring at the charts will always create uncertainty. You staring at the charts will always create uncertainty, because think about it. How many times have you been on the charts and you kind of looked at the charts and you was like, you already seen your setup, but then you keep staring at it and staring at it more, and you're like, I don't know about this. I don't know if I don't know. And you're just like kind of like picking it and you're like, well, maybe it could do this, maybe it could. That's uncertainty, and you don't want to do that. Me personally, I always look for 5 to 10 minutes on the charts, maybe less. 5 to 10 minutes on the charts, mark up my levels on the higher time frame, set my alerts at those levels, and then get off the charts. If price doesn't touch any of my levels, then I will not trade the price action, right? So that's what I like to do to kind of help me with, overtrading and having that addiction to want to trade, right? Your interpretation of boredom is as something is wrong. So basically, you think boredom is basically something's not going on, I shouldn't be bored type of thing. But trading is honestly boring. Trading is very, very, very boring. Like I'm sitting in a trade right now. I'm in a bunch of drawdown and I'm, just waiting for something to happen, either stop loss or TP. And it's like, I just got to sit here. That's all I can do. That's all you have control over is your emotions. There's no point in me getting mad. There's no point in me getting sad. There's no point in me getting overwhelmed, right? Because there's nothing I can do about it except for wait. That's boring. You ever seen paint dry? You have to wait. That's boring. But it's what you have to do as a trader. You have to wait. Nothing you can do. You can't go push the market with your finger. You can't push it up, push it down. So why are you stressed out? Calm down. There's no point of being stressed out when you have no control over it. The price of the market, right? You have no control over it. So what are you upset about? What are you mad about? Even if you lose, what can you be mad about? Okay, it went the opposite direction. So what? Get into a new trade when the time comes again. It's trading. Like you have 250 days every single year to trade. You're gonna be okay with one day a loss, or this day a win, and the next day a loss, or this day break even. It's okay. Just fix what you're doing, fix your craft, fix the skill of it, right? Clean it up, make sure it looks good, and then get back into the markets. Also, to go along with this is shrinking the emotional cost of waiting. A lot of people think that waiting is feeling like you're losing time. It feels like you're wasting time, but that's never the case. Sometimes waiting can be passive aggressive. Having passive aggression is the best thing that I would say helped me become where I'm at today. I've been very passive aggressive when it comes to things, and basically for me what that means is I sit back on the sidelines, but the moment that price or something in life it hits me and it shows, hey, this is an opportunity, take it. I'm gunning it. I'm running so fast you would have never thought I ran that fast. Right? That's being passive aggressive. I'm super slow, 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 slow. Go, boom, and I'm gone. Right? That's the first thing I do. Passive aggression is the best way that I would say helped me get to where I'm at as a swing trader, even a day trader, mostly swing trader now. But that's what helped me get this far, because as soon as I see something, I act on it. Boom, I'm there. Right? So eliminate the thought of sitting back. Eliminate that thought of sitting back as, oh, I'm wasting time. I could be making money right now. Right? Don't think of it like that. Because when you quote unquote are wasting this time, someone like me, I'm sitting back, I'm like, yeah, all right, they're gonna get ready to, they're gonna FOMO right quick. They're gonna get impatient. I'm basically watching the traps. I'm watching the liquidity. Okay, bet. They finna go through that door, and I know that, all right, so if it's two doors, this door is fire and then this door is flowers and rainbows, right? And I'm just trying to, well, if I don't even know which door is which, right? But I know one's got fire and one's got rainbows and flowers. I'm gonna wait because I know somebody's gonna try to open that door first. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna sit back. Boom, he takes the bait. I know exactly where to go. Boom, they take the bait. They open the fire door. I know exactly where to go. And if they do take the right one, boom, I go exactly where they go. Because I see it now. They're gonna open the door for me. So I have to wait for the market to open the door for me so I can go through there. I wait. The market opens the door. I take it, right? It's the same thing. Everything is going to relate to trading because trading is a psychological thing. It's something that you do on your day-to-day basis, right? That's why some people can catch on to trading faster because they've pretty much been through scenarios where they had to do something like this, be passive aggressive, and then when the time strike, they have to attack, right? There's people out here that take longer times because they never experience things that make them make decisions like this, right? This is a decision-based, more psychology, decision-based game, right? Your psychology is going to make your decisions, right? The way that so basically how I tell everybody is your mindset is going to come from your psychology, and your psychology is going to come from your experiences. So decisions are from your mindset. Mindset is from your psychology. Psychology is going to go into your experiences and everything you've been through in life in general.